Wexford get their first competitive win under Dara Egan after a 111 to 11 points win against All Ireland champions Limerick. I think for Dara Egan, this is a massive boost because he's tasted a heavy defeat against Limerick in the past couple of seasons as part of the Tipperary coaching team. So he'll know how difficult it is how tough it is to turn around that psychological disadvantage that I imagine that Tip have felt in that last while. And also because of the manner of their defeat to Dublin in the Walsh Cup final last week, they were hammered around the place and they were never in the conversation. They didn't have Lee Chin in this game. They didn't have Rory O'Connor. Kevin Foley went off injured early against Dublin. He wasn't there. Shane Reck wasn't there. Sean Murphy. So they were without all of these players. So you just assume that therefore against a Limerick team that has a huge amount of All-Ireland winners and all these players that are ready to step up straight into the senior squad and team if needed, Colin Coughlin, Cathal O'Neill and so on and so forth. You just thought that Limerick would steamroll them. And certainly I was on Southeast Radio on Saturday and I thought this could get ugly. And the day itself was quite ugly, obviously very, very windy and difficult conditions to play in. And it's not the thing that it always suits Wexford either, just because it's their home venue. I remember Clare going there and turning them over, I think it was at the start of last year. So I think the fact that they stayed with Limerick the whole way throughout the game was the most impressive part. Early on, when Wexford were competing well, but the physical stature of the two sets of players, I thought ultimately Limerick are going to wear them down here. And as the game opens up later on, Wexford won't be able to keep with them because physically there's no doubt there's a huge difference in the size of the Wexford players compared with Limerick. But I do think that there's questions over the depth of Limerick. But this is a team that doesn't have the likes of Cian Lynch in the middle of it all, throwing the ball around to all his different teammates. And he's just like, can teams actually find somebody to shut him down? Unbelievably difficult task, especially with the way the team uses the ball and hand passes it around to each other. I see plenty of people giving out on Twitter that they throw the ball. It's not really something that ever occurs to me. I just think they rep it so much that they're very, very slick and smooth at doing it. Whereas when Wexford were hand passing, and this is a big difference in the teams, when the teams have the ball and they're under pressure, Limerick switch the ball around the place with hand passes and then ultimately a stick pass so that they can find someone on the other side of the field away from the traffic that can then carry the ball up the field. And they do it all very smooth, slick, so red. And then when Wexford get the ball, so often they were moving it to the other side, but they were doing sort of a loose, blind hand pass into space. Almost, I'm under so much pressure from Limerick here, I just need to get rid of it, which is another reason why I thought that Limerick ultimately might come through here. But they didn't. And even I think Wexford can be frustrated with certain elements of their play because they were shooting from 100 yards so often. I mean, goalkeeper Mark Fanning was taking on shots from 100 yards. When he had someone available to just pass the ball to 30 yards away from him so that they could build up and move, there was a sideline from Carl Dunbar. There was just shots from all over the place, the sidelines. And that's the sort of thing that Dara Egan will probably have to try and limit in this team if he wants them to challenge for the Leinster title and beyond later. Losing this game, I would say that there's definitely questions about the depth. I think Pat Ryan is obviously a brilliant impact player. He didn't make the impact he would have liked from play, and he was taken off. David Reedy didn't shoot the lights out either. Cathal O'Neill, a couple of times I recall balls being hit awry. I mean, that's the whole thing about Limerick, that all the balls go to hand and they go to who they're supposed to go to. Thought Declan Hannon was quite good. His sleight of hand is very, very obvious. The key moment, of course, was the goal from Mikey Dwyer. Ball fed into the edge of the area. He collects it, turns. Now, there's a lot of pressure on him. I'm not entirely sure if there was a foul there, but maybe the referee decided that he was allowing Dwyer more steps because he felt he was being fouled and therefore reset the step count. But ultimately, I think he took the guts of 15 steps before knocking the ball into the back of the net. So I thought this is either a free out or a free in, but he ended up giving neither, and it was a goal. Conor McDonald, he had a goal chance at the end. He threw it up and sort of didn't quite catch it, probably under pressure from both Dan Morrissey, who he snapped the ball over, and Nicky Quaid. So he didn't quite get it away. He won a couple of great balls in the second half, high balls. He's always that threat. Didn't think he had a great first half. There's one stage he got away for a goal chance and hit a tame one that Nicky Quaid saved well, but really needed to put his foot in the ground, take another step forward and put it low into the net because he has that quality. But it is a good, encouraging win for Wexford. Limerick just not unduly bothered because once they get their their frontline players in there. Again, they're a different proposition, but still, I think for the belief of everyone else in the championship or heading into the championship, it's important to see that there's, as they dig into the panel, that maybe they're just not absolutely invincible. So good win for Wexford, 111 to 11 points.